What's going on, guys? HaVoC back in the video. Today we're going to be talking about some underrated Clash Royale cards. Now, I'm not the best Clash Royale player, right? You guys know me. I'm not Clash with Ass or Chief Pat. I'm probably a little below average, you know what I mean? Maybe at the bottom. But I do have a clear understanding of the meta and what cards people just don't use because of this and that. So today I thought I'd go ahead and share my opinion on the top 5 underrated cards that I like and people just don't seem to use them. And I'll explain the reasons why, but I just wanted to explain why these cards are actually good and maybe you should use them more. It's not a long list, by the way. If this was maybe June, it would have been like a top 15, but now the game's kind of balanced. Not 100%, but it's getting there. Also, yeah, I'm sorry for the bad lighting. You guys already know. Now, before we get into that, this video is sponsored by the game Old School RuneScape. You guys might have heard of this, except it recently came out on mobile, and it's absolutely fantastic. But for those who haven't played it, it's a massive multiplayer online role-playing game, or MMORPG, just for short, you know, where you're in control of one human character that you can level up and develop into a powerful account. The world is also shaped by its own players, with the developers releasing new regular content that has been voted for by the fans themselves. It is also cross-play, so you can adventure anywhere, whether it be on your PC or phone. That's probably the coolest part here. Anywhere you are, you'll be playing on the same account in the same world. There's so much to do, like PvP, quest, epic bosses, and the exploring part is huge. Honestly, you can have a blast. You can play for a few hours. Just make sure you get some sleep, you know? Links will be down below if you guys want to go ahead and download it. And yeah, let's get right into it. Now, the first one is going to be the Hunter. Also, yeah, I'm using a hoodie because my hair is kind of a mess, and I'm saying, I'm just kidding, but I need a haircut, you know. Anyways, the Hunter. Why is the Hunter on this list? Well, you guys all know I use the Golem decks. It's maybe like half of what I use, you know. Back in the day when the Hunter first came out, there was a huge meta where you would use Golem and Hunter. And nowadays, it's not as popular as it was back then because there's so many other cards to use. But in my opinion, the Hunter is very good. Yes, there are disadvantages, and I know why people don't use it as much. The reason why is simply because there's maybe better cards than him. At long range, he doesn't do well. Does he get the job done? Yes, but not as well as a wizard or a witch. You know, you can use some of those cards and it'll work just fine, maybe even better. But the reason why I love the Hunter, and I think, you know, I just think it's a high skill, what do you call it when, you know, it requires too much skill to use? High level skill cap? I'm not into all those Clash terms, but I do know for sure that if you know how to use the Hunter, you will dominate with the Hunter. At close range, this guy can almost take out an entire Hog Rider by itself. Can the Wizard do that? Can the Witch do that? Can the Musketeer do that? No. So at close range, the Hunter is a very powerful card. And I don't want to say OP because it's definitely not OP anymore. I mean, like, everyone can agree with me, the Hunter is balanced. But at close range, if you want something good, the Hunter. Hunter at close range can take out so many troops with one shot, you'd be surprised. And I know he's not going to be at close range all the time. Maybe that's why people just don't like him too much, because if you deploy him at a very weird angle, he won't get too close to the troop. He doesn't need to walk to the troop, you know? So most of the time, he's not going to be just standing right there in front of the troop. But when it does, it's a very powerful card, especially at given moments where you need something to take out that, you know, Inferno Dragon or really any troop at one instant. The Hunter comes in handy. The next one is going to be the Barbarian Barrel. The Barbarian Barrel is supposed to be the log 2.0 or the log 1.5 because it doesn't exactly reach the tower, but it does spawn a Barbarian. So you're getting something less, but you're getting something even more. A lot of people underestimate it because maybe it's just not enough, but when you look at it, it's a very decent and powerful card. You just need to use it right. I have so many clan members that be using the Barbarian Barrel, and I'm sitting here like, maybe I should use it more. In certain situations, that Barbarian that it spawns is very good at distracting just at the right moments, you know? It's more powerful than you think. It's more helpful than you believe. Wow, I sound like a preacher. Hallelujah. Anyways, I don't have much to say about the Barbarian Barrel, but I do know for a fact that people just use a log more than the Barbarian Barrel for obvious reasons, but this is a video of underrated cards. You know, people don't use them much, but it's more powerful than people think. That's why it's called underrated, you know? The next one is gonna be the lumberjack. Gotta fix my hoodie. Alright, I know, and maybe everyone knows why the lumberjack isn't used as much, because it doesn't work all the time. There's so many cards better than the lumberjack, and honestly, you know, legendaries are supposed to be that special card that others can't do. So for example, this one, it drops a rage spell right after it dies. What common card, what rare, what epic does that, right? So legendaries are just a way to say this card is special, you can't find it anywhere else. But I believe the lumberjack is currently underrated and has been for a very long time. Of course, there has been moments where people pick it up and it's very hot in the meta, but it's not always there and it doesn't always last. The meta is always changing, and it seems like the lumberjack is just bouncing back and forth. People use it, people drop it, people use it. You know, it can't find a place in the meta. Of course, people use it. If you check the leaderboards, people are using the most random cards, and you just sit there like, why are they using that? But I'm not talking about the leaderboards. You know, when I'm talking about underrated cards, I am not referring to the leaderboards, because they know what's up. They use what works, okay? They don't use what's in the meta. They use what they're familiar with, what works, what's getting them trophies. In my opinion, the lumberjack is very versatile, but I find it very well with golem decks. You see, when you're using a golem and you have a night witch in back of it, and you have maybe a hunter, maybe a wizard, but that one lumberjack can make a huge difference, because most likely, let's be honest, it's gonna die in that, you know, big push. They're gonna try and defend it, and the lumberjack is most likely gonna die. But what happens when that happens? The rage spell. The reason why I use a lumberjack when I do is because the rage spell makes a huge difference. That rage drops in your entire push, and boom. Most likely, a golem push that has a rage on top of it will probably be undefeatable. Not all the time, of course. You know, spells don't work all the time, and you can think of the lumberjack as a spell slash troop, which it basically is, but it works more because of the spell parts. Of course, it does good on defense. You know, if you drop a lumberjack on a musketeer or a miner or something light, you know, it'll do its job. It'll take it out, it's fast, and you know, it's good. But my point was, the lumberjack is just, it's better than people think, and I wish people used it more, because you don't see a card like this everywhere, and it's very unique. If you have no reason to use it, well, don't use it. So anyways, let's move on to the next one, because we've been discussing the lumberjack for 10 years. So, the next one is going to be the bomber. I know what you're thinking. The bomber is, you unlock that card in training camp, you use it for a while, you forget about it, and, you know, you never use it again. Believe it or not, though, there are so many times, and I'm sure you can relate as well, where there's a bomber, and you zap it, and it doesn't die, so it destroys everything you have coming, because it's just that powerful. You know, a bomber versus pretty much everything, you'll see the damage, okay? Of course, like every other card on this list, there are always better options than the bomber, okay? You don't have to use the bomber because maybe you found something else and it works just fine, maybe even better. But my point was, the bomber is just, it's powerful, you know? It's like a portable fireball that does less damage, you know? It just shoots mini fireballs, and boom, boom, boom. If you've noticed, the bomber is not so huge, so sometimes it's kind of like hiding back there, and you try and defend that push. There's a golem, there's a bomber, there's a musketeer, and you try and defend it with some light troops, and boom, your defense is gone. Why? He didn't throw a fireball, not a zap, not arrows. The bomber. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the bomber can't die to a log. So it's a very powerful card. It's just that there's so many better options, but, you know, this card rocks. The next and final one is gonna be one that, you know, I wouldn't really call it underrated, but, you know, people have been using it less and less because there's so many counters, it's unbelievable. It's the Elixir Collector. Remember back in 2017, there was a very powerful deck. It had the Golem, Elixir Collector, Night Witch, what else did it have? The Baby Dragon. It had so much of these powerful cards. It was insane. I was even using it. Everyone was using it. People who didn't even like the Golem used it. Of course, that deck or that meta was destroyed by the balance changes. Everything in that deck was kind of nerfed. And yes, the Elixir Collector was nerfed. I don't think at that time, but it was nerfed eventually. It has seen a few nerfs over the years. You know, I can finally say years because in about a few weeks, the game is 3 years old. So yeah, the past few years, it's been nerfed a couple times, or a few. And a lot of people shy away from it because there's so many counters: the rocket, the fireball, the miner, the goblin barrel, the poison, the graveyard, everything just counters this thing, right? But so there isn't always going to be a direct counter in their deck. It's a high risk, but high reward card. I don't have to talk about how powerful the Elixir Collector is because you guys know how it is. You can feel the power, the advantage when you have that extra elixir coming through every few seconds. And I know this won't work well with, you know, the meta right now because everyone's using, I don't even know what people are using right now, but I'm not gonna lie. I mean, this only really works if you're trying to have a heavy deck. And yeah, that's the reason why I use it. But lately, the trend has been very weird. People have been using golem decks without utilizing the Elixir Collector to cut that portion of the deck to be more safe, to be more efficient, to be faster, to not have people just throw spells at your Elixir Collector. So yes, people have been removing the Elixir Collector from their golem decks, from their heavy decks, because of this reason. Too many counters, too many risk, too many this, and that, a waste of elixir. Yes, I get it. And there's so many people in the leaderboards that are still using the Elixir Collector for their decks. So it's kind of like one of those cards that if you want to take the risk, go for it. But if you want to be safe, just drop it and carry something else, you know? And that's what people really prefer nowadays. But that's just my 2 cents, okay? At the beginning of the video, I said this was my opinion. And you'll probably watch a few videos there's different cards, different opinions, you know, but this is HaVoC, okay? My channel. I just wanted to, you know, share my opinion on the most underrated cards today. This may change, of course, with balance changes. Like, of course, I would have put the Dark Goblin in this video, but it was buffed. So now everyone's using it. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you guys want to go ahead and download RuneScape and play and then just have a blast, links will be down below. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. HaVoC Gaming out. Peace.